Ring, ring, ring. Hello, priest. Happy Saturday. And welcome back to the magical Krown's Crypto Cave.
Well, welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Thank you for the beautiful introduction, Mrs. Elsa over there. You can see that the blinds are closed in the background. Well, that's because it's a little bit of a down day for myself as well. Still recovering, but recovery is going well, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's not serious or anything like that. So, but I really do appreciate all the people reaching out and sending the well wishes. As I adjust my microphone right over there. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Anyways, everything's fine. Just probably need like another day to fully recover. I do want to say, if you have been trying to contact me on Discord or email or whatever it might be, I've probably been a lot slower in getting back to you. I've just been really focusing on resting recently, but I will make an effort to get back to you just in time priorities right now. Anyways, with all of that stated, as I still fight with my fucking mic over here, there we go. We have plenty to talk about on good old Bitcoin, so I want to follow up on the lower and medium time frames because a few trade ideas have kind of been populated since we last spoke, and more importantly, well, we're not going to be talking about too much higher time frame stuff today. Again, if you want the more high time frame look, definitely check into the long-term analysis playlist. The playlist titled long-term analysis is what I mean to say, which I release each and every Sunday, and I believe I will have a psychological series being uploaded a little bit later today as well. If not, I need to remember to upload it. Anyway, without further ado, as always, wish you the best. A nice little happy Saturday morning over here from Chicago, Illinois, and let's teleport into the live scene right here, right now. And boom, baby, there she goes into the live scene on the daily. Bitcoin still above all major moving averages as it stands right now. And my rule is, as long as you're above all major moving averages, I cannot be bearish. Just like last year when we were below all major moving averages, can't be fucking bullish. And right here, right now, we are still valiantly holding up above basically all these guys right here, but most importantly, the red 10 symbol, which is 10,350. Which is, of course, that critical point that we've been speaking about for the last week and a half now that needs to be held by the bulls for them to have kind of like the ball in their court, if you want to make the analogy like that. Anyways, let's zoom on down to the lower time frames here, just because, well, actually most of the action is going on in the lower time frames here. You can see that we've had another valiant defense of the white 200 simple, and more importantly, we are and also above the purple 200 exponential moving average right here, which most importantly, and why this even matters, because it's going to pull up all these major moving averages below, and with note on the green 55, if we get that to cross the upside, well, then we got a golden cross once again. And I've been speaking about this for a long time, but the patience of waiting for this one to play out has really been very testing. But as Bitcoin closes more and more 4-hour dollars above that 10,300-ish level, just most importantly that purple 200 exponential moving average on this time frame, well, inevitably we will get that up. And most importantly, with all of the action that we've seen just throwing around these moving averages right here, that tells me that this next sort of momentous move that we get from this cross is likely to be the big one. So again, going back to the actual timing of this next major move, I do think that Bitcoin does break out of the greater formation within the next week, most likely. And I mean out of this whole formation right here, if you're looking at this as a massive descending triangle. I don't care what you call it. I know that there's some sort of an article going out there saying, don't call it a descending triangle. Listen, at the end of the day, man, we have a nice horizontal support right here. We have a declining resistance trend line right here. Yes, we can call it a descending triangle. Doesn't mean that it's always going to break out to the downside, though. I've seen every fucking pattern break out every goddamn which way. It's just a statistical setup. That's all. More often than not, yes, it will break out to the downside, but because we are coming off of a prior massive uptrend, well, that probability actually does get diminished quite a bit. And I would say personally, I actually do kind of lean on the side of the bulls here, as Bitcoin's just been so resilient in this region that I don't feel like it's appropriate for myself, again, just speaking personally here, to get super bearish until we actually break this critical level right here at about 94.50, also synonymous with our bottom support trend line of this prospective descending triangle, which is also synonymous with the 382 Fibonacci retracement right here. If we were to do that, then yes, I can become Krown Sitzwitz Bears once again and target to move down all the way towards 66 to 6,700 bucks. Probably gonna be bounced along the way, 8,900, 8,500, 7,700-ish region. But most importantly, until we actually break this region right here, I'm not looking for that to happen. And like I said, this whole way through, while I don't trade my opinion actually does lean to the upside, funnily enough, for better or worse here. And if we do break it to the upside with a daily total closure, technically above this declining trend line right here, also synonymous with the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement, technically we would have a measure move all the way towards about 14,500 and likely beyond over time. Although for me, this is a classic trappy trap area. I need to see a higher high over this $12,000 tick right here. If we can do that, then I'd be pretty damn confident in calling another trending move about $2,500 higher, and probably another $4,000 higher, like longer term, I suppose, to $16,500. But for right now, Bitcoin's still tying this up, and like we've been saying, resolution likely coming in the middle of September, of which we are pretty much there right now. So I do think that this is extremely likely to break in the next week, and we do have some nice economic events like the U.S. Fed talking about interest rates. If they cut them more than 0.25%, we will very, 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 very likely see price action rocket to the upside. If they don't cut them by as much as 0.25%, then we'll actually probably see price action drop, because that has been priced in thus far. So right now, Bitcoin benefiting from that. All hard assets are going to be benefiting from that, like your golds, your silvers, and of course now Bitcoin in the mix as well, which has been playing off of it recently. Anyways, while we are here on the daily, let's look at momentum oscillators. We do see daily Stokes looking like they are looking a little bit weakened to the downside here. I want to see how they react right at the edge of the bullish control zone. But for right now, kind of a moot point as Bitcoin drifts sideways. I don't really have a strong opinion on that. What I have a stronger opinion on is actually the daily RSI. Bless you, Elsa, if you heard that in the background. Elsa's having a little bit of a sneeze attack right now. But what's most important to me on the RSI is what we were talking about yesterday, right? We wanted to see this regain the exponential, yes, and then come back and hold it after a retest. That's what we're seeing right now. So if Bitcoin can close here or higher by end of day, I would say that is mostly a good thing, especially if we could close anywhere above 10,450. If we could close anywhere above 10,450, immediately I would target a move towards about 10,650, 10,700. So about like what a $200-$300 play. Not bad, very tradable, especially on a weekend when very little's happening. But I really like this read over here on the daily RSI and also daily Joule as well. If we do see the light blue oscillator get another positive slope tick to the upside, I will say that this is going to end up being I don't take signals in this region right here, but it would. If you're more cavalier with this one, you could interpret that as a buy signal. But I need to see that first. And for me, I still don't take signals within that region. But again, lining up everything, looking at historical volatility percentile, looking at structure, we are coming to resolution very, very soon. I mean, this is contracted like very extremely low. We haven't seen this low really since May of this current year, before that breakout from about 5,000 to 8,000. And before that, we were at snake eyes fucking down in March when Bitcoin exploded from 3,000, to 5,000. So again, these are pretty major areas now that we're talking about. And because the resolution is so near, I don't think that it's certainly very admirable, or certainly not, or there's certainly no dishonor in not having a position right here, as we're quite literally in the middle of this whole range and just waiting for either a break below here or a break. I mean, if you want to be super aggressive here, but I would really wait for one above 12,000, because the next trending move is likely to be $2,000, $3,000 plus. So there's if you just want to keep your margin account open just to have the equity to put on a trade for the winning side instead of just basically guessing in this region right here, I think that's completely fine. That's good trading. Now you could also have a trade right here, as long as you have a way to kind of manage risk on. So where does it make sense to manage risk on? Well, I've been getting a lot of questions about this recently, because for whatever reason in cryptocurrency land, people think that a 4-hour chart is like a high time frame. It is not. A higher time frame is not even a daily. It's like a weekly and a monthly, as far as what I'm concerned with. A 4-hour is a low time frame. A daily is like a medium time frame. You're not getting like good trending behavior from those time frames as far as the macro goes. You really need like a weekly setup is what's going to lead to those massive gains. When people ask me about, hey, Krown, how do you get into that trade at 3,900? How do you buy at 3,900 and hold it all the way to 13,000? It's just from that, playing the weekly, looking at a weekly high or low. I mean, it was this fucking simple, man. This fucking simple in hindsight, to be fair. But we had our low right here, we had a higher low right here. Once we broke above this prior high right here, I said, okay, higher lows, higher highs. I got long somewhere right around about 3,900, and then boomed straight to the upside. This was only found on a weekly. If you go down to a daily, it's going to look all sorts of sloppies within this region. Actually, we're making an ascending triangle, but still better seen on a weekly. So my point is that, hey, if you've been trading this extremely tight behavior right here, and you're on any time frame like lower than a daily, or maybe even a 12-hour, you're gonna be in Wick City and gonna be in Hunt City, and even on a 4-hour, like this is pretty brutal with the way that these wicks kind of get you in and out along these prospective areas. But while we are here on the 4-hour, do we technically have an inverted head and shoulders in place? Actually, we do. Very rarely do I call out these formations. I'm not a pattern trader myself, but technically speaking, we do have a nice neckline aligning with this area right here at about 10,440-ish region. I'm just going to briefly draw it in. Let me get there we go. Right there, we got left shoulder, double head, right shoulder, nice. And if we could actually break above the neckline, then we'd initiate a measure move actually all the way back to this 10.9 or $11,000 high, which would actually start to make this whole thing look like one massive inverted head and shoulders right here, with your neckline right here at about 10.950, 11,000, double left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and boom. And then that would have a measure move significantly higher than that. So understand the domino of effects here. If Bitcoin can confirm first and foremost above 10.450, then I would initiate a move technically towards 10.9, although there would be resistances along the way. This area right here at about 10.550, although I'm going to get rid of that one. It's not like too appropriate. Then this area right here at about 10.750 right there. And then if we could take out the next major resistance at the next neckline at about 10.900, 10.950, then technically we'd have a measure move pointed all the way towards and above our prior high of 12,000 at 12,500 bucks. So that would be the impetus for the next major trending move to the upside. So if you're looking for reasons to be bullish, there actually are reasons now present in the present as far as pattern traders go, as far as as far as momentum traders go, as far as moving average traders go. I mean, there are things stacking up right now. Not only that, but 12-hour Stokes are now on the same side of price action as well, confirmed I believe early yesterday was. But look at this, very very much erect, gaining momentum away, and more importantly, getting out of the bearish control zone right here as well. So I would say that it is appropriate for me to be bullish on Bitcoin, or bullish is not the right term. Bullish is not the right fucking term right now. But I would be maybe short term looking for upside as long as we're closing 12-hour dildos above this 10,300-ish level. Yes, I know I said a 4-hour yesterday, but we're at the point now when we're looking at 3 months worth of price action going sideways here. A 4-hour just is not going to fucking cut it. Really need like a 12-hour or a daily just to not get caught in these in these wiki behaviors, both to the upside and the downside. People are just getting shaken out of their positions for no real reason. This is why I typically don't have stop losses. I manage it manually. I still have stop losses, right? But I manage it manually. I don't have like a static order in there. Anyways, so let me just make sure that I'm recording. I am. The microphone's working as well. I didn't test this one out beforehand, so hopefully this does work well. I should talk about my positions really quick. Here's my positions right here, full transparency. Still long about 50.5 Bitcoins on my streamer account. From about 10.250 on these December futures, and then 95.39 on the perps right there. So feeling pretty good about that. But I will, and I have covered most of it, to be fair. So don't take that as me being super long on my streamer account. It's not really, because I'm covered I'm covered on a good amount. As I'm looking at my phone right now, it looks like we just had a pretty big market buy of 3 million contracts on Mexico. So not bad, picking Bitcoin back up. But more importantly, with that, as long as we remain in closed 12-hour dildos above this 10,300-ish level, I will hold a little bit of long exposure there, just because I don't want to have too much going on right there, and especially when I'm kind of recovering from a little bit of a little bit of a surgery, and then on top of that, it's my streamer account. Like, I don't really even want to be having like 50 Bitcoin long positions. I mean, my main account right now, I'd rather focus on that. But for what it's worth, and just to make it worthwhile on my streamer account, I'll put on those positions for now, from time to time, as long as I can cover them well, of which this one I have. So even if we do go back down below this region, even if we violated my entry on those December futures, I'm actually still hedged enough so that I'd still be making money on the on my options side. So it's always paired up. That's a difference. So people who look at my positions as like something to copy, it's just keep that in mind, because that may or may not be relevant to you. And I would just suggest not really copying what I do to begin with, because first and foremost, like, what if what if that trade doesn't go in my direction? Second, most importantly, I'm very reactive. I'm a very responsive trader. So each and every one of these, ticks here, I'm going to be playing the options against it, just to make sure that I'm going to come up on top on those trades. Anyways, that's all. That's all. I suppose just all pretty much the same as yesterday. Anyways, I'm holding about the same position, covered about the same amount, small upside exposure, and if we do close a 12-hour dildo below this 10,300-ish pivot, I will just cover the rest and probably reposition lower. Now, if we do start closing 12-hour dildos below about 10.3, I would say, or even just take out this last low here at 10.150, I would look for another move down to test the 12-hour 200 exponential moving average at 98.50. Also going to be the daily 89 exponential moving average, we put it on right here, which I don't have on right now. There we go. Let's put on all of them while we're here. And yes, coming in right around here. If we do come back down to this level at about 98.50, 9900, I do think that Bitcoin bounces again, but the bounce likely does fade and we come back down ultimately towards 9600, 9650-ish region, down around this region, and this whole formation starts to look extremely bearish, which right now, at the end of the day, both sides have a lot on their side. There's a lot of good reasons to both be bullish and bearish here. On the bear side, we've just only been creating lower highs this whole way through, and technically it is a ascending triangle, and fair enough. The thing is, though, is that if we are truly in a Bitcoin general macro uptrend, or AKA a bull market, then we have a pretty damn good way of kind of gauging the pullbacks during those times just by going over history. And we could go back to the last general upwards market, and you'll see right on over here that all of the pullbacks were around the same percentages, about 36% right there for that one. We have this guy at about 40%. We got this guy at, or maybe girl, or perhaps it, at 36%. We got this one at 35.5%. We got this one right on over here at about 38%, 38.5%. We got this one right on over here at about 40%. You get the idea, right? Anyways, the thing is that Bitcoin actually has had a pretty comparable pullback right here at 35%. So it's very much in line. Not only that, but you will see on the weekly, and I said I wouldn't talk about too much long-term analysis here, but we'll just briefly cover this. I'll keep on a few. Bitcoin loves to play off the yellow 21 exponential moving average on the weekly bullish dumps, if you want to call it that, during its general upwards marks. Just kind of backtest it here, generally good. And you could see that if Bitcoin does close this next weekly above the red 10 simple, then this would very much kind of count as a test of the yellow 21. Not only that, but let me go over here to the 2-day, which I think actually gets things a little bit better, and look and put your eyes on the green 55 exponential moving average, which we have tested. You can kind of count this another test right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, and thus far it has had a pretty damn good historical relevancy of holding up those bullish dumps in a little bit more of a precise manner than the weekly 21. And because it is a lower time frame and lower period, it's technically a higher period, but lower time frame, we're going to have more iterations of that, so it has more chances to kind of get it right. And you can see over here in your last general upwards market, gets it pretty damn well. Same thing over here in 2015 to 2018, and then more recently, we've quite literally come down and officially tested it. Not only that, but the 2-day had a pretty damn good close yesterday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We closed above all major moving averages. Again, my rule is I can't be bearish on that, and thus far we've only come back down to test the red 10 simple, and so far holding up above it. So I would say that if we even get a higher tick than yesterday's daily total high at 10.450, again depending upon your exchange, but somewhere around there, then I'd look for a continuation to that 10.8, 10.9 region, 10.7 to 10.9 region. I know it's kind of like a bigger area, but you do see that there is a couple of relevant resistances within that region. So probably short-term pullback off like 10.7 and then continuation up to 10.9, something like that is what I'd be looking at. And as long as we're closing 2-day dildos above these major moving averages here, I'd have no real reason to be bearish. It also means if we take out even yesterday's low at 10,027 on stamp, then I'd be looking for another full-on test back down here towards 9,700. I don't think it's going to hold if we test it again. But looking at momentum oscillators, looking good. 2-day Stokes straight up and at them, actually out of the bearish control zone, confirmed with the ticky last night. 2-day RSI also getting back above the exponential as well. I like these. This is actually a decent setup right here. Still a little bit, still work needs to be done. But let's go over to the 3-day, which is going to be closing, I believe, tonight. Nope, sorry, it's not closing tonight. Closing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, along with the weekly. So it's going to be a pretty damn big close tomorrow. If we could close anywhere above 10,450, then I would, I'd be looking for that continuation to the upside. Closing anywhere below 10,250, and I would probably flip my script on that one and get bearish for another move for an actual break to the downside, probably of the whole thing. 3-day Stokes finally getting that divergence. I'm going to start to really side with the bulls here, especially if we can confirm this tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the close anywhere here or higher. Again, anywhere above 10,250, and I do believe that that we will see that play out. And 3-day RSI, this one's a little bit more concerning. We are still getting rejected by the exponential, but overall, I'd say that there's more positives than negatives here. And with a 3-day and weekly closing tomorrow, I don't think that today we're going to see all that much action. I think it's going to be all set up for tomorrow, really, and we're going to see some posturing around the daily, weekly, and 3-day close tomorrow. So I would be, I'd certainly want to kind of keep everything open for that time. And going over back to the weekly, do we have anything else to look at? Weekly Stokes still nosediving, so not good. Weekly RSI still in kind of a precarious place, although we do have potential bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence in play between this point and this point. If we can all we have to do is just close above the red 10 simple. If we could do that, then hidden bullish divergence likely takes us actually all the way to 11.5, or at least to 11,000, which you can see is quite likely in the lower time frames, assuming that we get all those, all those next few ticks, I suppose. Anyways, go check out expected moves chart. Expected moves chart flatlining again. That is concerning. That would be more on the bearish side right here. So any take below yesterday's low at 10,150 and probably actually all the way down here towards 98.50ish region. By the same token, any test back above yesterday's high, I don't think that we're going to stop at the first deviation. We likely actually reach towards the second, which is going to come in at our next major resistance at about 10,650ish, 10,700ish region. So you can see it flatlining right here, which typically does happen before an actual little change in direction, but still early in the day to call it. We got 9 hours and 8 minutes left, so I would still give it a little bit of time to kind of play out for itself. Anyways, going back on to Bitcoin and going back into CMEs, which we actually haven't looked at today, we did see CMEs close for the week yesterday, right, on Friday. Daily diddle close, not good, don't like it. Daily Stokes still down, daily RSI neutral-ish, daily Jewel finding resistance along this trend line right here, it looks like. The CMEs not looking as potentially as primed as spot is. The weekly also closed another weekly dildo, as kind of like a, well, what do you want to call this? Doji dildo, spinning top dildo. I don't care what you call it. It's too small to really, well, I shouldn't say that it's too small to really matter, but we did close below the red 10 symbol, which I do put weight on. So, unless we open up this next weekly dildo above last week's high, meaning 10,620, then I'm not going to be a huge fan of this overall. Again, all momentum oscillators are in a more bearish posture on this one. This one is the more bearish chart, that is for sure, on all time frames actually. But same levels apply. So I'd still give this one time. And if spot breaks up here, that'd be a pretty damn good indication that we're going to see CMEs fall through with that open tomorrow. Same thing with GBDC. GBDC closing below, having a very bad close for the week actually, very bad close. Yes, you can interpret this as a bounce off the yellow 21, but again, same thing here. We really need to see next week open higher. We need to see it open higher than 1285 and this become a base. Otherwise, structurally speaking, this is going to start to look more and more nasty. So we are on a little bit of a ticking time bomb, which does still line up with the resolution date of next week. Any time with it between now and next week, I would say is extremely likely that we do see resolution on this. Anyway, we've looked at everything else. Do I want to check out anything else? This video is going to be a little bit on the shorter side. I see that it's only 22 minutes long right now, but like I said, kind of want to just spend my day kind of just focus on relaxing. Let's go check out Bitcoin dominance really quick. Bitcoin dominance over here. Weekly still bullish, but lower time frames probably are going to be coming down, I'd imagine. Yep. Oh, fucking perfect, man. Fucking perfect. So we saw the rejection at 72.5. Beautiful. Beautifully done. Coming back down. Yes, we're probably going to bounce along this area again, but I do think that ultimately we come lower. Medium term, probably somewhere down to about like 71 or 70.5%, somewhere down around here, and then we'll try some upside. So alts are going to get some love here, I'd imagine. I'm going to imagine that our shitcoin index, Mr. Cardano, going to get picked up. Oh, man, this one's fucking perfect. Now, it went about 5 Satoshis lower than what I was looking for, but that's fine. I mean, this one's, on a low number anyways. But now, I'd be looking for this to bounce up. I'd be looking for this to actually probably reach back up towards this region. We're actually going to try a legitimate rally. It's probably ultimately somewhere around the weekly 10 simple, which is currently at around 500 Satoshis. And then we'll come back to reassess. So I do think that most alts are going to dig in here, have a little bit of a bounce. I don't think that the pain is done longer term. I think that still longer term, I'd be bullish on Bitcoin dominance chart, and so alts still not going to on the whole going to get hurt over a long period of time. But on the short period of time, probably going to have a little bit of fun here, I'd imagine, over like the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. So yeah. Anyways, just tearing the sleep out of my eyes right now. There we go. Okay, nice. Anyways, let's go check out gold. Gold coming back down, fucking beautiful, man, and exactly what we spoke about. We got that tick back up to 1520-ish region. Immediate rejection from there, probably coming back down to 1469, just as we spoke about last week. I feel like I'm coming off a little bit arrogant with these right now. I'm just saying these so that you can go back and then do this yourself, because, well, I mean, that's really the whole point of this. Like, I'm not here to do your fucking trades, but I'm happy to show you exactly what I'm doing and exactly what I'm thinking and why, and then you can use that however you will. In this case right here, I do feel quite confident that we come a little bit lower, but still longer term, I'm bullish on it. Actually, I'm quite bullish on this long term. But for now, think of it as Bitcoin, like when Bitcoin broke out for the last 6-7 months straight to the upside, then we played out like 2-3 months sideways. I'd be looking for some similar on gold right here. We came so close to hitting the blue box target right here, but got front ran just by a few bucks. That's okay. It's gonna, you can't get too greedy with those moves. So, now's kind of the, while we probably do bounce off this like 1475, 1469-ish region, it's probably going to go sideways in here for a while. Just really, really frustrate the Peter Schiffs of the world, and probably going to be on cooldown for a while. But longer term, I do still think good. Anyway, let's go check out the other two top shitcoins in the crypto sphere, and we see Mrs. Litecoin here starting to fight it off a little bit. I really want to see this daily doodle close anywhere above $71, and I would be calling a move over towards about 75.5, 76, and then likely 70, or sorry, just $80 up here, as this starts to look a lot more like a base. So looking better right now, but I still need to see that daily doodle close above $80. Probably going to happen with Bitcoin first, I'd imagine, though. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, 70 or even $70.50 would probably do it, but 71 should be more conservative. Mr. Buterol doing it right now, actually. In fact, Mr. Buterol looking good here, looking constructive. I think that this bodes well for the general market, bodes well for Mrs. Litecoin as well. And I do think that short term, you're probably going to see a target unless we see this daily doodle close, unless we see the daily doodle close below 183.5. I think that we get continuation actually all the way up to 194, and then probably 205 right here, and then perhaps lines us up for more continuation if we can take out these regions to 235 and then 260 longer term. But for now, this one's shaping up to be better. Daily Stokes still up, although we're using a lot of them right now. Daily RSI out of the bearish control zone. I think we're kind of ready for a pop here. Falling pizza might actually be playing out, at least for the very first anemic target of about 205 region. So fair enough. There it is. Finally get that tick. Okay, cool. So we looked at all that. Let's go check out traditional markets, how they close for the week. Pretty damn good close. We made new highs, new all-time highs earlier this week, closing the week as kind of like a doji-ish dildo. But for right now, this is a little bit of a precarious close. I do think that it kind of sets us up for a pullback coming into Monday, maybe back down to like 299. But I am now bullish on this as long as we remain above the 296 region. Now, if we take out 296 to the downside, I'd immediately target a move actually all the way down here towards 285, and then probably even that 275 area that I've had my eyes on for quite some time. But the bear trap, I do think, regardless of whether it happens from this area right here or we do come down to 275, I do still think that it's going to be a bear trap and that we ultimately move higher. So many people are bearish on traditional markets right now for very little reason other than just an emotional response to, like, I don't like what's going on. It's like, well, yeah, but this can go on for quite some more time. I mean, people can kick the can down the road. I'm not saying that traditional markets isn't going to go into a recession at some point. It certainly will. It's just this can go on. This can be forced up. This can be propped up with, well, U.S. dollars for quite some time. So you can say that and you'll be right at some point in time, but that could still be a couple years away. We're still likely to go into negative rates, and we're still like a little bit above zero right now. So still got some time to go, I'd imagine, before something like that plays out. But yeah, it certainly is on the horizon, just still need to actually see some tangible things. As far as a trader goes, as far as analysts go on CNBC, and, if you have a Twitter account, then you can say whatever the fuck that you want. And, well, people who agree with it, well, retweet your comments. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, though, but they'll still retweet it, which is what it's really about, right? Anyways, let's see. I think I've kind of exhausted what I want to talk about today. Like I said, I want to keep it a little bit on the shorter side. Let's actually go over the lower term timeframes right here. I would say that if this next 4-hour doodle closes here or higher in the next hour, confirms anywhere above this region right here, this is starting to shape up a lot better to me. We're probably going to see a lot of momentum also to switch to upside. 4-hour Stokes probably do cross the upside if we see that closure happen. At a favorable area anywhere above 10,350. 3-hour Stokes are already there. I'm going to imagine that the 2-hour Stokes are there as well. Are they? Yes, they are. And hourly Stokes should be there as well. Yep. And all coming from the same area. So I actually kind of do like this. Looks short term like it is going to give a test towards 10,450-ish region. I do think that we test this region, and then if we take it out, then yeah, I would be targeting move short term towards 10.6 and then 10.750, and ultimately the measure move would actually bring us up to about 10.9, but I would take it one step at a time just in case. So yeah, by the same token, if we do close a 4-hour doodle anywhere below really like 10, we can't really use a 4-hour right now. There's just too much fuckery going on here, but I suppose the lowest time frame I'd use. What's the lowest time frame that's working right now? Let's go through it. 8 hours working. 8 hours is the lowest one that's worked thus far. 10 hour is kind of sloppy. 12 hours good. So 8 and 12 hour getting it. I'd say 12 hours more conservative. 8 hours more aggressive. But both of them are working right now. 4 hour could probably work. 10.3 as a pivot. I don't think that we close another one down below there unless we're gonna come all the way back down in this region and probably lower. But as you just saw right over here, we could still get that sort of an action. We're very, 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 very mature in this consolidation. So even a 4-hour chart is, I mean, look at the 4-hour chart. It's all we have all major movement averages conglomerate in this area. That's showing you that there just hasn't been any deviation from this region. Anyways, I'm gonna put back on all the major movement. Actually, no, I want to quickly talk about this, and then I'll start to wrap up the video. But the reason why I have so much importance on this region right here is because all major movement averages on just about every time frame are coming in around here. Now I'm focusing on the 4-hour right now, but this goes true for just about any of the higher time frames, and they're all conglomerated once again at around 10.3. So to me, that's a major pivot on the market, and the more that we close above it, the more and more that the more and more likely that we are to break to the upside. And what it looks like to me is that if we do see the green 55 cross to the top side of the purple 200 and get the golden cross on the 4-hour, then that's telling me that the Boston algos actually are going to play out this cross, and it's appropriate to target those moves much higher. And historically speaking, when we're in a general upwards trend, which this is very much a general upwards trend here as it is right now, we've seen in the past that the 4-hour dildo golden crosses and death crosses in a general upwards trend have a pretty specific signature going on them. So I'll just briefly talk about this right here. Here's the last sort of, well, it's not going to be the whole thing, but basically we have a very specific signature where we get a death cross and a golden cross in a general upwards market, and well, some pretty cool things happen. So let's highlight it maybe back down around 2015 in the last general upwards market. Let me just populate these ones over here. Come on, baby, show it to me. There you go. Maybe trading view. Come on. Remember when Bitcoin was all the way over here? $20,000. Pretty crazy shit. I see the videos now. 31 minutes. Holy shit, man. It's like the last 5 seconds just flew by. Anyways, let's go all the way back on over here. We want to get into the end of 2015. There we are. And you see the first golden cross right in over here. Boom, major move up. In fact, we get about a 2x in price action. Yeah, a little bit more than a 2x in price action. Golden cross takes us all the way up there. Then we get the death cross and a golden cross about 2 weeks apart. And from there to the next major high and sorry, there's a third piece of information here. We need to see the colored movement averages, the exponentials, get above the white 200 simple on the same time frame. That's when the trending moves, the momentum actually does happen. We get this next move right here at about 100% done over the course of 124 days. Then same thing right here. Death cross, golden cross takes about 2 weeks. Then golden cross, once a golden cross moving averages get above the white 200 simple, which they never really go below here. Another 100% move to the upside, 120 days. Then death cross, golden cross. This one only about a few days apart, and we get a nice 54% move right here done over the course of 51 days. Not bad. Again, momentum being gained once we see the exponentials get above the 200 simple right there. There we go. Then same thing right here, death cross, golden cross. They both get above the 200 simple, and boom, major massive move of about 170%. To the upside. Then same thing right here, death cross, golden cross gets above the 200 simple, and boom, we are off to the next race right here. 100% gain done over the course of 44 days. And then this next one right here, which I'll just let you eyeball, from all the way from $4,000 to $20,000, almost a 400% gainer. Pretty fucking impressive. Anyways, that's why I have my eyes on it, because as Bitcoin tightens up around this region right here, and we can really see this as a major pivotal moment in Bitcoin land, the more and more closes that we get above this region, the more and more likely that we get the actual golden cross, and we can get those moving averages above the 200 simple, both of them, which right now we actually are, and we have not had them both above the 200 simple for about for almost a month now. Then that's a time when I start to get a lot more excited about the upside. So with all of that said, I'll kind of leave you off with that one. Let's go back down to BitMexico. Do we even want to put on these? I mean, realistically, it comes down to the 8 hour and 12 hours. As long as we're closing, those time frames, and especially the 4 hour above the 200 exponential moving average right here, that becomes more and more likely to happen. And I'm more inclined to hold on to my long exposure. If we do start closing below this region, I just want to cover. I do think that if we close below this region again, we probably do come back down at the very least to $10,000, and then probably lower than that over time to this like 9,600-ish area right here. So yeah, the stakes are high right now. Still looking at $1,000 move in the short term, and then resolution on the whole probably in the next week and a half to 2 weeks, which is like a $2,000 to $3,000, or sorry, maybe a $3,000 to $4,000 move overall. So this is going to start to be the more the time to pay attention once again. We've played out this consolidation now for quite literally 3 months, ever since June, right? So we got June, July, August. Not all of June, of course, but you can see that it's spent its time going sideways. We are very much wrapped up now and ready to roll, I do think, relatively soon. So with that said, I do want to leave you off there. I do want to wish you well on this nice Saturday morning. Like I said, I'll be around on Discord. Do forgive me though if it takes me a little bit of time to get around to answering messages and whatnot. It's been very much overloaded recently, and like I said, right now my priority is kind of to recover. I also want to say massive thank you for all the well wishes. Holy shit, man, it's fucking overwhelming, this community. this community in the best way possible, in the best possible way. Like it's truly amazing, man. I just want to say massive thank you. You know, it's so nice to have, and man, it just makes me want to give back. Anyways, I'll cut it off there. I want to as always wish you well over here from Chicago, Illinois. Take care and see you soon.